the strength. I will trust in you. I will trust you, God. Let the weak say in the strength of the Lord. I will trust in you. Hey, I will trust in you. When I'm weak, I'll say that I am strong in the strength of the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Blessed be the name of the Lord, for he is worthy to be praised and adored. And so we lift our holy hands in one accord, singing, blessed be the name, that strong tower. Blessed be the name, a hiding place. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be the name, of the Lord, to be praised and adored. So we lift our hands. Sing, blessed be the name. Singing, blessed be the name. Blessed be the name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be the name of the Lord. You alone and worthy, God. Blessed be the name. Singing, blessed be the name. Blessed be the name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be the name of the Lord. You alone at worthy, God. So we lift our hands. We sing, blessed be the name. Blessed be the name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Jesus, you be lifted. Be lifted, be lifted higher. Jesus, you Lord, be lifted higher, be lifted higher. Jesus, you Lord, you be lifted. Be lifted higher, be lifted. Jesus, you be lifted. Jesus, you be lifted. We lift you higher. We lift you higher. Jesus, you be lifted. Be lifted. We lift you.
Praise God. Praise God. Welcome once again to another life class session. Yes. Please, can you sit down? I always forget. So once I start, if I've not said anything, just sit down. Except it's Bible reading, but just sit down. Yes. So did we have a good week? And are we ready for this week? I cannot even hear you guys. There's someone making me laugh, especially. Oh, yes. So, first of all, I think we should talk about this book. I hear you people have not been buying the markets. Why? You all don't know how good this book is. How many people were here when FLS came? Because he came with this book. You people didn't understand or enjoy what he said. See, I've not, well, to be honest, I have not read everything, but see, I opened this part, so let me just whet your appetites. So he says, and because I think this book goes for everyone, really, whether you're a business person or a career person, but look at it. Make it more about them than about you. So even if you're selling something, you're an entrepreneur, see, make it more about them than about you. So it still boils down to what I've been saying since. If you're doing something or you're a business person, you ask yourself, what am I trying to solve? What problem am I trying to solve, right? You're a career person, just like one of the speakers said one time. Make your boss look good. Make it more about them than about you. So you can't buy this book and go wrong, honestly. It's just to upgrade your business life, your career life. It's just an all-round gooder. At least I would like, please, that at the end of today, I'll be hearing sold out. So maybe we'd ask him for more copies. That's not impossible, is it? Yes. Thank you, guys. So today, I think we should do something a little bit different before we call up our panelists. We're having a panel session today. So we need to be sure that all the English our speakers have been speaking are actually being digested by us, right? So let's do something real quick. It's short, but fun too. But it's not to judge anybody. You carve it, but just to be sure. It's also a learning process for some of us. So let me start. I'll just ask a question. So someone can answer as a good student of the life class or as a bad student. You guys better answer because, to be honest, I'm ready to pass the mic. So raise your hands. It makes it easier for all of us. So the first lesson so far is, the first lesson we learned, actually, at least for me, is you do not need capital, in terms of cash, to start your business, right? So the person said you need reputation for value. Somebody answer as a good student of the life class or as a bad student. Just pick one. Anybody? Okay, so no, not who said. So now you know how, you've heard something. So as a good student, what comes to your mind? As a bad student, what are you saying in your mind when they say that? So, yeah.
Good morning, church. So he said, you don't need capital. What you need is reputation for value. And right from when he said that, it got me thinking, how can I start my business with a reputation? But then I came to understand that how people perceive you is how they take your business, is how they want to work with you. When people see that you have value, especially value to offer, they are willing to risk anything to see that you grow. So when you have built a good reputation for yourself and people can perceive you positively and see that, oh, you have potentials, I don't think getting cash capital will be the problem, because they are the ones that will be longing to invest in you because you have something to offer.
So that's a good student, Abi. So bad students, please. Bad students. No bad. Huh? Okay, there's a bad student.
What he just said, he said you can't start a business without a capital. Like, for example, I want to start a farming business. Without money, will I go to the market and tell the person that is selling chicken or feed, give me chicken, I want to start business? You need money to go and get such. And if you want to sell vegetable, you want to start, you have to take money to the market to get your vegetable to start selling.
Okay, meet good students to tell you how to do that. You just broke it down for us.
Okay, so thank you very much for pointing that out. And I just want to reiterate what Pison has said before, that for any business you can think of, there's always a small version of it. It's just for you to think about, not overthinking yourself too highly. Like you talked about farming business. You might want to identify a farm that is already thriving, and they have structure. You can just leverage that for a start and work with them, understand their processes. From there, they have proceed from the farm. Based on your reputation that you built, they can give you a lot of some of the things. Or you can even say, after serving for a while, now I want to start my farm. You can go to the person that owns the farm, and based on the way you served, the person can give you a startup, something you can start with. So that applies to every other business. I remember Pison mentioning a boutique business. This was somebody that lived in his house that was aspiring to have a big boutique. And you know how he started? Someone that he knows, maybe his sister or cousin abroad, he mentioned that idea to the person, and he went like, I can send you some clothes, you know? So the person sent the clothes without any capital. He went all around, friends and offices, sold the clothes, returned the capital back to the person. He was able with the profit to start his own business, you know. So there's always a small version of any business you can think of.
Awesome. Okay, so one of the speakers to one of the wise speakers also said that you need to save to be able to invest. Because what he was basically trying to say is that if you are a salaried person, right, and all you do is take home your salary at the end of the month, you're not investing, you're not doing anything else on the side, it can't actually take you home. You'll stop somewhere on the road. So now you earn 200,000 naira in today's Nigeria, right? I think the speaker had said you should save about 1/4 of what you earn. As a good student that earns 200,000 naira, as a bad student that earns 200,000 naira, tell me, how do you plan to do that? Okay.
Good morning once again. So, I think today is my day to talk because I've not been talking since the life class. Okay, so we're taught to save a portion of what we earn. And I read a book, The Richest Man in Babylon, which stressed on that a tenth of what you earn is yours to keep. So 10% from everything I earn is actually what I save. I now opened an account where I just dump 10% of anything that comes in, whether Dash or whatever. And as I was consistent with that, it grew to a level that I couldn't imagine that I could save this amount of money. So I've been wasting money all my life. And opportunities have been coming. But because I don't have money to invest, I also lose out in the opportunities because nobody's willing to loan you such amount of money. And from what I was able to save, an opportunity came my way recently because still in that book, it's one thing to save, it's another thing to know where to invest in. It talked about going to meet someone who is an expert in what you want to do, not saying you want to go into a jewelry business and you're meeting a bricklayer to give you advice on how to invest in jewelry. He literally has no idea. So meeting the right people with the right knowledge, they give you the right knowledge, and then you have the substance because you have been saving from what you earn. And now it's your money working to bring more money. Your monies are like soldiers, they go out, they work and bring their kind back. So now this opportunity comes my way, and I was faced, true life story, I was faced with challenges. I think Fortune is aware of what happened that day. And I was not at peace. But because I had savings somewhere, an opportunity came up immediately, like almost immediately when this occurrence happened. And I just went down into that savings, brought out the money, and invested it. And trust me, that same day I got my returns.
Is that not CBEX? Like, how do you get investment return same day? You have to show us the way. So, but really, this is emergency funds. But like a bad student, I would say, I need to save my life before I start to save money. But let us be honest. I mean, even for myself, I've been more intentional about saving. Many of us think that you need to have so much money to save. But if you follow investment or financial experts, they'll tell you can even save with as little as 5K. And you know what they say about compound interest? I'm not an economist, I'm not an investment, so ask them, look for them, the mentors everywhere. One of them even came here, so you can ask. They'll show you the way. It's not hard. It's not hard. I think it's more about, well, one of us, the audience the other day said something about accountability. So I think if you're intentional and accountable, the sky is your starting point. So, at this point, we've run out of time, really. I thought we could do this in 5 minutes, but let's just call up our panelists for today. Yeah. So there's the mentor, Mr. Ola, and his mentees, James and Eukaria. Right? So, why you're surprised? Did you not know? See your chair there now. Praise God. Okay, welcome guys once again. So let's just run through a brief introduction so they know you. We know you.
My name is Ololua Akinolua. I am Pastor's husband.
Put it in your bio.
Yes, I actually do businesses a lot like that at work. Say my wife is a pastor, so you can trust me. In any case, I work for a management consulting firm called Acuvia. It's a management consulting firm for the life sciences. I have a background in health security, global health, and, well, now a lot of life sciences experience with market intelligence and stuff like that, clinical trials. But basically as a management consultant, I'm not exactly a scientist. So that's me.
All right. Good morning, church. Okay, my name is Eukaria. I am a student, first of all. And then I am also a health coach in the holistic health, alternative health sector. I'm a humanitarian, I work with NGOs. And then I do business too. I sell organic products. Honey, pure honey, wild honey, anything organic. Yes, thank you.
Hi, my name is James. I'm a structural engineer, and yes, I practice. I've moved from the design aspect of structural engineering to the construction. Yes.
Okay, we'll come to that, how you were able to make that switch. But Ola, can you tell us just briefly how the experience has been? You know, I'm excited because these guys are like career people, so it suits you really perfectly. So how's it been?
Not very sure how to answer that question. It's been a little interesting, a little challenging to find the just the time, for instance, but also to find the balance that you want to strike in mentoring. Personally, I don't think I am. Okay. Personally, I don't think I'm wise enough to be a mentor. But, I'm a pastor's husband, so I think I've never really, I think it was Dr. Coyote that said he has never really seen himself as a mentor. Um, Neither have I. There have been relationships in my life, um, small pockets here and there, where I think I've been a positive influence on people. But to sit down in a formal, structured engagement and to, set a KPI for a relationship, and try to track how that person is doing and be accountable for that person's progress in a way. Um, I've not done that before, and I don't feel like yeah, but this has been a trial of that, and it's been interesting in that sense. Um, I am surprised, actually, by the progress they've made, and that they've attributed it to any kind of conversation we've had. um, so it has been for me a learning experience. Um, every time I think of the mentorship program, I always feel like I should have done better. Maybe I should have whatever. But I think it's been interesting in that sense. One last thing, and I might talk more about this later. I think what has been the most impactful over the past, I don't know, 3 months, is that for both of them, what has happened in that period has been a little similar, in terms of the fact that what they've been able to walk through is better define where they want to go career-wise in the next few years. Um, and I think that process of occasionally sitting down with yourself or with a mentor, or with a pastor, to define your personal milestones, your desired goal, and the prerequisites that you need to hit to get to that place. Essentially, your personal theory of change. Um, it's a it's a it's a perfect vehicle for it's a perfect thing to do with a mentorship's relationship, as it were. So, thank you.
Thank you. Honestly, I think you've done a fantastic job, really. I mean, trying to navigate the unique needs and challenges of your mentees. I'm not going to jump the gun, but they should say it themselves. So I think you've done great. I know sometimes, most times, when you think that you can't do something, and then you just see how you know that you're doing a fantastic job is the testament coming from it, right? Right. Okay, so James, can you tell us? Okay, no, your guy just spoke, so you can tell us how that the mentorship has impacted on your. You seem to be doing a lot. You're an entrepreneur on the one hand, and then you're a career person as well. So how is this the mentorship program, as well as, of course, the live class, which birthed it?
Okay, so I think when we started this year, though I was not on ground physically, but Payson declared that this was going to be our year of Ascent. And then I wrote down a couple of things because I was online. And one of the things I really wanted to achieve this year was to find a unique pathway, to express my practice as an holistic health practitioner, because here in Nigeria, or this part of the world, is not really so. But then there is no, like, I can't seem to get a proper field of career in terms of the 4 years of a university to study that. The courses I've done have usually been online. So, and then prior to this time, I just do things, I navigate all of my stuff by myself. I was really hoping to speak with someone. Like, I was at that point. Like, I just wish I could talk to, and I've tried to make some moves, but then, when you're not too known, you're just quiet there at the back, and then you show up like people, yeah. But I just kept praying to God. And then I came back and I decided to join Soul City. That was in February. And then the first Sunday I came, they just talked about mentorship. I was like, yes. I mean, God ordered my steps to this place. I just picked the form that was given. I filled it. And then I think they assigned me to business, but I know but what I really wanted. So I met with Dr. Oluwatobi, yeah, and then they switched. So what this has done for me is, it has, one word, it has given me a direction, like that clarity that I wanted. Like, it was an outcry in my heart. When you are doing a lot of things, this is what you want to do, but you really do not know how to get that roadmap. You are just thinking it all by yourself. There is nobody to consult with, like, oh, and this is what Life Class has done for me, particularly the mentorship, because I was not around when the Life Class started, but the mentorship was an answered prayer. And then, as I speak today, I've gained, like, if you wake me or anytime, I know what I want to do. I know what I can do to bring in my passion, such that it can actually impact lives, because I see myself in the nearest future being able to express myself and what I do to be accepted. I know I need some kind of educational qualification to be able to have that voice, because even Dr. Su, you mentioned, if you don't have this, you have to be. So I think for me, the education part is one of the paths that will lead me there, and the mentorship section has actually helped me to get into that properly.
Full for clarity and mentorship that helps you navigate the path. So, James, can you also share with us?
Okay, yes, my name is James. So last year, towards late last year, things started bumping on my timeline about finance, and all of that. I started researching on how to transition from my current career path to finance. So I saw some couple of things, corporate finance and other aspects. So I read a post on Twitter from Dr. Ola Brown. She was talking about project financing and infrastructure financing. I could remember going to her Medium post to read stuffs about project finance, and it kind of linked up with my current career, because it deals with projects, road construction, bridges, housing and all of that. And this is something that I've had background in. So fast forward to late last year, I could remember I spoke to Mr. Ola about it. And this year, January, I said, okay, you know what? I need to do some finance training. I enrolled in Edo Bridges finance analyst program this year. so which spanned from January to March. Then life class came. So when life class came, it was an opportunity. A lot of concepts were coming out of this place. A lot of ideas, were popping out of this platform. It was a thing for me. So when the church now opened a system for mentorship, they stated career and all of that, I needed a structured pattern for me to really transition well. So fortunately enough, I was linked up with Mr. Ola. Again, I was like, okay, this is it. This is it for me. So I could remember we scheduled a meeting where I explained myself and what I wanted to do and how I just want to, move from engineering to project financing and infrastructure financing. So he encouraged me, and not just that, he linked me up with one of his friends, top guy, that, we scheduled a call virtually and there was a path. So with that, it gave me the clue of what I'm going into, of what I'm, trying to enter, right? So, and a whole lot of that, and the experience, of course, has been awesome.
So, yes, I should say a few things. Okay. I think one of the things that I have personally been thinking about the past couple of months, the past couple of years, but most importantly, the past couple of months, is how to refine the pathway to where I want to go. There is a tool that is very commonly used in project management. I know you probably have, if you work in corporate settings or in NGOs, you probably stumble on it a couple of times. It's called the theory of change. It basically just says, in order to get to this desired impact, maybe eradicate polio, these are the things you need to do. You need to buy 2 billion doses of polio vaccine from a manufacturer or something, and then you need to take it to X countries. So basically, a theory of change is this thing that tells you what you need to do to get to where you're going. But first of all, you need to know where you're going, and that needs to be clear. And then you need to know how you can get to where you're going, and what the options are, because there are always a lot of options. So take an example of a farmer who wants cheese, and wants to be able to eat or make his own cheese and sell it or whatever. There are a number of options to that. You can go to the market and buy milk and make cheese, or you can buy a cow. So in any case, in my experience with making theories of change personally, I know that it's very easy to get it wrong. And in the same way, I know when we make personal theories of change for our lives, when we say, this is what I want to become, it's easy to get it wrong. It's easy to set a target that is completely outside of God's plan for you or what you should be setting. It's easy to say to yourself that the target for your life is to become rich. And I mean, that's a good target, I imagine. And the steps towards that would probably be very easy. But if you spend time with God and thinking through what your capacities are and define a specific target for your life, and then walk back from that target to say, this is what I want to become. I want to be the authority on X subject matter in the world by 50. That's the target. that's a desired outcome. Then you walk back from that. What do you need to become that? I need to have credibility. I need maybe a PhD to cement my credibility in this area. Sometimes you don't need a PhD for credibility. Sometimes you need to publish lots of peer-reviewed academic journals or write plenty of books, or something like that. And then you find all of the prerequisites behind that. Before you do get a PhD, what do you need to do? You need a master's or a BSc. And then you work all the way back to where you are currently, and then start working towards that. So that's how a personal theory of change works. And I think one of the most underrated things in life is sitting down from time to time to define a personal theory of change. It is not a one-time, how did I say it? One-off or a one-and-done thing. It's a thing you refine from time to time, because you might have made a slight mistake in setting your target, or you might not be aware of certain pathways that existed, because when you were setting out your prerequisite, your knowledge was limited. So for me personally, this is a thing that I do regularly, actually. When I have opportunities to take up new jobs, I sit down and consider this. Sometime in 2021, my former boss called me and said he needed someone to do something, and the role is supposed to be West Africa, East Africa, West Africa, Central Africa. In any case, he was telling me it's ex-Nigeria, to give me the idea that it's, oh my God, I'm sorry, guys. I hear you can't hear me. In any case, I was excited by the profile of the role, but I needed to sit down and think about what that meant for what I want to do. If I take on that role, what does it mean for my immediate goals and all of the prerequisites I've set for my target? In the short term, what that role meant is that I'll probably double my salary, and I'll be getting a lot of per diems because I'll be traveling to Chad and Niger and God knows where. But it means that I've spent by that time I'd spent about 5 years working in a specific area, a very specific niche area of public health. It means that if I leave that role, I'll probably be not necessarily throwing away, but I'll be making the last 5 years of very little import. And so I had to make a decision. And I think one of the things that both of these sessions have shown me personally, I know that they have spoken about how it has helped, but one of the things that's shown me is that I probably need a mentor. That mentorship actually is a very good framework in which to do this. Because a lot of times when you sit down by yourself and you think you have all the data, you think you know all the pathways, you think you have defined your target very clearly. But if you have the perspective of someone who has taken some of these paths, who have made some mistakes, who have had some victories, they can tell you that actually there are a few other things you've not considered. And I think one of the best things you can do with a mentorship situation is help define your pathway and your personal theory of change.
I agree with you. You know, you said something, and you said it some time ago, where you said that you should think to carve a niche for yourself and sit there. I mean, you had said something then so that even if they think about the first 3 people in Nigeria that are well versed in this, you should be one of them. And I remember you had said too that there are people that you Google them and you don't really find much. I hope you guys you know what I'm saying. You have gone to upgrade your LinkedIn profile and stuff. Yes. So and I'm also grateful for mentors that hold your hands. You know, look at how you said he pointed you in the right direction or connected you to someone that was able to help you do something. I mean, things like that are awesome. I don't know. Mentorship is, I think every so often we need mentors, whether they know about it or not. Even I need mentors because I know I have an accountability problem, right? I have friends that look in my mentors, right? Because okay, I talk to them about something. They're like, okay, life, I think we can do this, and they're on my case even much more than I am on my own case. So that's what I think mentorship does for you too. I think that we shouldn't be too. A mentor can be your close friend. It doesn't have to be somebody that, it has to be, maybe this is the best finance expert or the best in this. It can be just someone to hold your hand, point you in the right direction. Oh, they see something they think you might be interested in, they send it to you. Things like that. Then they follow up. Oh, how far have you done this? Did you do this? Things like that. So, Eukarya, can you tell us, I know that you've navigated all of these things and, trying to handle all of these things at the same time. I think you're just the real MVP because I don't know, business, education, your schooling, everything else, and you also have a career, budding career. So tell us, how are you able to do all of this? And then what skills have you been able to acquire, hoping that maybe through the life class, you've been able to garner one or two skills or maybe hone on what you already have. So how can you just give us an insight?
Okay, so I'm going to give a brief background because what happened to me this year, briefly. So the last time I was in school before, now I mentioned I'm a student first of all, because I think right now that is what, amongst other things, is a key factor to where I'm going. Before now, the last time I was in school was in 2018. So between 2018 and last year, 2023, I wasn't in any university kind of stuff. So and the course I actually first studied was mass communication. And then when I was done with mass communication, I did theology, like a Bible school stuff. And after I did that, between that period and now, it's been like work. So, but and I know when before now we're talking about value, preposition for value, something like that. So it's something. Though I was doing those things, but I really didn't know it has a name, because first I started working as a volunteer because I love volunteering. So I would just work. Okay, I think the first NGO I worked with was Pathfinder Justice Initiative by Ruth Dawosa, the female girls trafficking and all that. So I will facilitate because I had a coach who had been a medical lab scientist, and then it just switched into the stress management. So he took me up and he was mentoring me. So I would just go facilitate programs on different distance for stress management and all that. And then I remember back then I was facilitating for even banks. At some point, I was supposed to do a training for the Edo State House of Assembly. But during those periods, I wasn't really thinking, okay, all these things I'm doing, where am I going to end up at the end of the day? I wasn't actively thinking about it. I totally forgot about school, right? And then in the process, I began to realize what I really wanted while I was doing all of that. I realized my passion for health. But I know I cannot go into the medical field because I don't know how people in the medical field do it. After saying all of that, they still come back and eat. I easily get irritated, right? But somehow I wanted to get into that sector. So when I met with my coach then, he started putting me through. I was like, yes, thank God, I finally found a spot that I can just stay and then grow. So, but then after a while, I felt I need to get this thing, like I need to be certified in this stuff. So last year I started thinking, okay, I was even ready to go back to write WAEC because I didn't have basic science education, right? It was in social sciences. I was ready to go, but if I have to go back to write so that I will have my physics and chemistry and then all of that. So I was just going through the internet. I stumbled on this National Open University, and then development studies. I checked through the requirements. Although they didn't allow direct entry, but I was ready to start from 100 level, because I was now beginning to see the light in what I was doing, because working with this, I know that what I am doing has a role to play in the health of people, you know. And then I started. Then fast forward to this year, when I met with my mentor, the first section we had was on mapping, right? He just asked me, just wanted to have an overview of where I am, what I wanted to do. And then he gave me an assignment to go and do a mapping of the health sector, right? After that mapping, I found that there's actually a role, a space for what I do, alternative health, all this health and wellness and all that. So I'm like, oh, really? So all the stakeholders, the agencies, the ministries, I just wrote everything down, and then I came back to him. So he guided me, like, okay, where do you really see yourself? Is it in the health education, like just educating in the curative or the preventive? I found out that my passion is in the preventive, rather than telling somebody to go and, even before falling sick, you shouldn't do things that will make you fall sick. So my passion was in the preventive, sensitizing people, because I realized that a lot of health issues would have been avoided if just we know one thing that we are supposed to do and do it right. So, and then health communication was a passion for me. And then that mapping helped me to, like, okay, I can really focus on this and not running, doing this. So my passion in health communication, now I have a space. But how then will I be able to join my voices with the many voices out there? Because what I'm doing is complementary to what the medical doctors. So how can we synergize? So then, thankfully, the course I'm doing with now is development studies. And then when we spoke, Pison said something that we should go and write down the things. I wrote down some things, but I didn't write, because I had told myself I'm going to study till PhD level. So the last thing I wrote on that list was, I'm going to get my PhD before this age, right? I just wrote it down there. And then during the course of the mentoring section, it became like, I became more aware of that stuff that I wrote. And then I think one of the days there was an ad pop-up, and then I saw the stuff, okay, let me find out more about this stuff. And I realized that, oh, there's even more in this thing, like to this thing, than what I even thought. So I made more inquiries, and I realized that I can even, so with the development studies I was doing, and then my others, this thing, and then the period of experience, because they now asked me, so I wanted to, like, okay, if I can start a master's degree already, even though I did not have a science background, but with the mapping and the clarity section and everything, I was able to even start another degree. So I'm running two stuff concurrently, one pathway to master's, another one in development studies, and niching down to public health sector, because I realized that, okay, I can actually, I don't know now, just focus on the public health to be able to do the health education and all of that. And then before now, I would not even think, if not for the sections, I won't even be thinking, when I see that, I would have even scrolled past that ads in the first place, because I was like, what's this? But because we have had a conversation, he has told me, okay, these are the things you should be looking out for. So I adopted the mapping strategy. So mapping strategy, before I start anything now, right, I will do my mapping. I will find out everything there is about that particular thing I want to do. And how can I be successful in this stuff? Is there something for me here? If not, okay, where is my selling point in this thing? Where can I really anchor on and then be a voice? Because that's at the end of the day, that is what, they've been teaching us in life class, how you can, be that person in your space and own it and everything. So I'm just so grateful, because really, and then with what is going on right now, before I'm going to hit that target of getting my PhD before that time. And thanks to God for Life Class and the mentorship, the people that just brought up this stuff. I mean,
Praise
it's
God.
something wonderful, yeah.
Praise God. You know, they say idea is the baby of vision. And I like how that what is interesting for me about your mentees, the mentees here, it's that you guys were able to pivot from one career path to an entirely different career path. And I know that this did not happen without its own challenges, because I mean, it's not easy moving from the sciences to the arts and vice versa. So in that vein, James, can you just tell us in a minute thereabouts what challenges you faced and how you were able to navigate it? Because I want for people to know that these things are possible, really. There's nothing impossible. It's the same way that people start to write to WAEC. You know how you hear how that this man is 60 years old or 70 years old and he's in school trying to write to WAEC. So there really is nothing impossible. So can you just share with us briefly?
Okay, quickly, the major challenge I have is time management, right? Because I work in construction, and of course, you would go to work and come back quite exhausted, very, very, very exhausted. Sometimes I will come back by 7 or 5, or maybe during a Bible study master class, I would just take permission and just leave the site to church. So time management. So how I was able to navigate that was, no matter how late I sleep, I don't know how it happens. I usually wake up by 3 a.m. So, and once it's 3 a.m., my eyes is wide open. And anything I want to do, I do it from that moment till 6 a.m., then bathe and leave for work. So it happens over and even when I was doing some training by January, it's the same thing. So that became my working hour that I used to pursue my other career. So it has been so challenging, but one thing keep encouraging me. I think I've talked too much. Okay, but one thing keep encouraging me is the fact that I have people on whose shoulders I'm standing on, that I can fall back to and say, okay, this is what I have done, and can you give me some guidelines and all of that to the next stage? And I'm putting this out here because I know my vision is to work in African Finance Corporation or African Development Bank. And of course, by extension, in the next 10 years, I want to work in the infrastructure unit of Goldman Sachs. It has been my dream. So I really, really want to hit it in the next 10 years. And I know it's possible.
So in just like 30 seconds, can we just share how the mentorship, the life class and the mentorship program, because this goes as well to the mentors, because I understand too that in mentoring, you also realize a few things about yourself. And I believe that it's a growth, it's a win-win for everybody. I mean, the mentor and the mentee. So in just about 30 seconds, can you just give us your closing thoughts on?
Okay. Life class has been quite, 30 seconds. It has been quite impactful. I think I'll just hit the nail on the head because there is a major milestone that I just hit recently that clearly defined my path. Okay, Pikem is aware, he's aware. So I could remember when I secured admission to do my master's in engineering management at American University of Beirut, but I couldn't get funding. It really pained me. So recently, God surprised me and gave me another hope. So, and I'm very much excited because it is Life Class that gave me that platform. If not, I wouldn't have. Yeah.
Allowed you to dream and, of course, birth your dream. That's amazing. So, in 30 seconds, 30 seconds, you carry.
So I would say, don't be an island. Whatever you are looking to do, someone has outdone you. Don't be too proud, to, seek for help. And when you have the opportunity, make good use of it, because that's what happened in my own case, and I thank God for it. And then I will also say, have savings, have money, kept somewhere. Because for me, if I didn't have money to even start the other pre-master's program, I would have as well, oh, this is nice, but I don't have money. But then I just looked, because I actually had another thing I was supposed to put that money into. But I looked at it, it's a personal, it's also me investing in myself. And this is like for life, this is purpose, this is God. So, and thank God for provision. So let's focus on this one now, right? So whatever Bible says, write the vision, make it plain, right? It's very, very important, because a man without vision, anything you see becomes your vision, right? So just stay on it, and yeah, thank you.
30 seconds? Okay, in 30 seconds, I think my closing thought is that having had all of this, I think I need a mentor. I've always been a loner. If you know me a little bit, you know I am socially awkward. I can look people in the eyes. If I talk too much, I'll need like 2 days to recover. So I don't do well with interpersonal relationships, which means I don't quite have any history of a formal, structured mentorship relationship. I think I should change that. I think there is a lot of, to use an expression that's popular now on the internet, a lot of alpha, a lot of upside that can come from such relationships. In the moment, it might not look like much, but like a lot can happen if your perspective shifts by just a little bit. So yes.
I agree with you completely. And like I said, I'm just honestly overwhelmed by all of these things I heard. They may seem like little drops of waters, but I mean, I don't think it is really, because you hear testimonies, even personal testimonies, or people walking up to me to tell me, oh, this is what Life Class has done for me and all that. What I want for us to take home most especially is that we shouldn't just take these things for granted, especially because we think we know some of the speakers from way back. I do not take them for granted myself, honestly. There's a lot coming out from here. There's a lot that's being birthed from the whole Life Class, and of course the mentorship. Please let us tap in. Really important. Let's tap in while we still can. Praise God. Thank you so much for listening to our TED Talk. If that counts for one, yes. Thank you, everyone. Let's welcome Pastor Kemi. Hey, God. Q&A. You people should not go. Who answer the questions? I completely forgot. You guys, please. See, I was looking at the time. So when I saw minus, I just felt we're done completely. I thought we had used up our Q&A time. Q&A, please. Who answered the questions? Me. Sorry, you guys. So, yeah. Do we have questions? First of all. Other questions? Questions? No questions? Are you sure? Ola is happy to leave, but I don't want him to leave. So ask questions, please. No questions? Okay. Good. Oh, there's a question.
Thank you. So to Ola, Pastor's husband, please can you maybe explain a bit more how to do a personal theory of change? I think that's something that really came out strongly here. You called it mapping, he called it theory of change. and maybe just speak specifically for early career folks, people who are still trying to figure out where they are, where they're heading. How do you map that out? When, say, for example, someone who doesn't have a vision of working at Goldman Sachs, like James.
Okay, so I think to do that, you probably need to understand how.
Maybe say what a theory of change is to start with, because I think you just assumed that.
So that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
That you need to understand how it is traditionally used. You don't have to use it like that, but it's basically a tool that you use as a guidepost. So if you start a project and you say you want to end malnutrition, maybe not end it, maybe reduce malnutrition by a certain amount in Abuja, not to feed hungry kids or something. If you don't have a guidepost that's telling you what you're doing and how you're doing it and whether you're making progress, whether you're still on track, it's entirely possible that you eventually find yourself doing something else. Maybe retailing vitamin A in Wuse Market, because somehow your goals kept changing, and then you found out that it's more productive to do this, and I start doing it. So you need a guidepost. You need something to keep reorienting you to say, this is why I'm doing this, and this is the next thing I should do. So the way it works is there are a few elements. The most delicate element, not the most important, but the most delicate one, is your end point, which is your target, which is your desired impact. So Bill Gates said he wants to eradicate polio. The only disease, I think the disease humans eradicated was what, smallpox, and then he took his challenge to eradicate polio. And then he started working back from that. In order to do that, what do you need to do? You need to figure out the countries that still have polio, then eradicate it from, that kind of thing. Your desired impact needs to be something that is achievable. I'm using Bill Gates' polio thing because a lot of people have criticized that goal as being unnecessarily ambitious and aggressive. They've invested billions of dollars into that scheme, and somehow, polio keeps up. And there are too many things that are outside of their control, like, extreme Islamic, ideology in Pakistan or the Taliban in Afghanistan. In any case, finding your target, you need to be very delicate. It needs to be something that you can do, that's where it's mostly in your power to achieve, and it needs to be achievable. Bill Gates the Gates Foundation has done like a significant deal. They've achieved a lot. But because they've fallen short of their declared targets, it looks like they're failing, right? Or you measure that as not quite being up to par. In any case, that's the first thing. You define your target. It needs to be defined. For an earlier career person, it can be, I want to own a bank. I want to be the next Jimovia. It's very simple, and it's achievable. In fact, it's very achievable, right? So, and being the top banker of a country, there are like a number of class steps to get there. So, something like that can be your target. It doesn't have to be elaborate. In fact, the simpler the better. When you say, I want to be the top footballer, my friend Ade, who you spoke to, who you are speaking with, when I first met him a long time ago, his target was to be the top scoring Nigerian playing for Arsenal Football Club. He was 17 years old. In any case, a target like that is valid, and it's clear, it's simple. The steps you need to take to achieve that would also be clear. In any case, the next thing is a series of steps called, they use different terms to define them. It can be outcomes, it can be outputs, but whatever it is they're basically prerequisites of prerequisites to get to the desired impact. So on the very final end, where you are right now, a set of inputs that you can put into that you can start doing, like register for a master's, or like, I don't know, get a certification. But the prerequisites are basically, so for someone who wants to own a bank in Nigeria, the prerequisite is that you get capital. So unlike the little game we had earlier, in order to own a bank, you actually need capital. You can't use reputation. But in any case, I know that employees have risen to become the heads of banks before, so there is that. But in any case, you then define what the prerequisite is. I need to become an employee of a bank, or I need to generate enough capital to set up a bank, or XYZ. And your prerequisites can have one single line. So if you say you want to become the top neurosurgeon in the world, there was a time when we had a celebrity neurosurgeon that was globally known. That was Ben Carson. Yeah. If you see that kind of figure and you say, I want to become someone like this, obviously your steps is now, I need to get a degree in this. I need to get into a school or a hospital that allows me practice at the highest level. These then become prerequisites. School, prestigious institution, etc. Same thing with owning a bank. You can't become the top banker in Nigeria by spending 15 years at a microfinance bank in Lokoja. You can start there, but you can't. If you have your prerequisite laid out, you know that I need to leave this place in the next 3 years, and then you start working towards that. So that's what a theory of change is. It starts with your desired impact, then you work backwards. All the steps you need. If you say, I need to become this, and to become this, I need a degree, or I need 10 years of experience, or I need to have served in a prestigious institution like Goldman Sachs, whatever it is, you then need to say, what's the prerequisite for serving in Goldman Sachs? Goldman Sachs is not going to give a role to somebody whose experience is working 10 years in Nnamdi Azikiwe or whatever, Nwachukwu Construction and Co. You need to demonstrate that you are of value to them. So how do you get into Goldman Sachs? You define that, etc. And all the way back to where you are right now. If you're in secondary school, okay, good for you. Your slate is clean and it's easy for you to work. And I mean, if you're in university and you're hearing something like this, it's good for you. Someone like me now, if I'm redoing my theory of change, I have a baggage of about 15 years. I have, all kinds of things that already define the kind of value I can give. But even then, even if you're a mid-career person, like they've shown, you can pivot. You can pivot somewhere else adjacent to your field, like he did, or like she's doing, or you can pivot to something else completely, in fact. You can then, and it is in those moments when you think, okay, there's a need to pivot, that that a theory of change definition becomes important. I think I've spoken too much.
No, but is it safe to say that this theory of change, I mean, for the benefit of every other person, is it safe to say that the theory of change is same thing as SMART, like SMART goals? SMART, I mean the acronym SMART, is it the same?
I mean, it's good that they're smart because it's good that they're measurable. It's good that they're, whatever it is, smart.
Specific, I
yes,
think, measurable.
time-based, all of
Yeah.
those things, it's important that they're smart. So, but like I said, you don't have to follow the traditional means. You can just do a quick line. For someone who is very young, you're in university, your sphere of change doesn't have to be very detailed just yet. Define what the target is, define what your next, and all the way down to what your next is, what your next step is. If your next input into the system is get a degree, good. You're fine for the next until you get a degree. Just focus on that. Your next input is maybe get a degree, maybe get a certification, maybe become very familiar with your field. 3 good inputs, and then you sit with those. Once you get your degree, it's time to do another, deep dive and redefine what the roadmap looks like. Go a little bit more granular and say, okay, now I have a degree. What do I do? Do I go straight for a master's? Do I spend 3 years gathering some experience? So you have 2 paths, and then you define what that means for you. If you are, if you're privileged to have like a father that can just send you to the UK for a master's, good for you. I would advise you to do it as soon as immediately that whatever is available. And then you define what that means. So a master's, what's next? Then you go much more granular, sorry. All right, thank you very much.
I hope the Uni Abuja guys are here, they're listening. Free advice. Oh, okay. So honestly, we can't take any more questions. People were not even willing to ask questions. Okay, there's a follow-up question. Pastor Kemi, they don't. I know. So there's a follow-up question here.
Okay, I promise maybe just 1 minute, quick follow-up question. So imagine you had the endpoint you said to define, you had an endpoint, and then you, because of Nigeria, right, you took jobs that were available or jobs that, that opened up, and you've sort of pivoted without intending to pivot. What would you advise for someone to do? Would you say pivot back, stick to the endpoints, or redefine the endpoints, especially if you have a lot more experience in the area that you unintentionally pivoted into as a result of the jobs that were available?
So personally, I wanted to be a poet. My desired, my original target is that I will become a Nobel laureate by 39 or something like that next year. But I'm doing what I'm doing right now. Okay. In any case, I think it's okay to redefine and change. If you find yourself on a path where, most humans are not doing what they would rather do. They're doing what they have to do per necessity. But if you find yourself on that path, if you invested 5 years, 7 years, and you're not unhappy with what you're doing, you can find value with what you're doing. It's good to take down your old theory of change and do a new one. But if you're unhappy with what you're doing, if you think you can only find happiness as a poet, then please find a way to pivot. Give yourself timelines and pivot.
So much. Thank you so much. In the absence of any other question, there's no time. Anyways, where are you rushing to? I can't wait.
Should I go?
Thank you for real this time. So let's welcome Pastor Kemi.
Praise God. Can I have the pulpit back here? Good morning, church. How is everyone doing? How did you find that session? Especially for Uni Abuja folks. I feel like this is probably one of the first sessions, except for the fact that you guys, there are a lot of business folks amongst you, from what I'm finding. A lot of people have businesses in University of Abuja. I wish I was like you when I was in school. Maybe I'll be a billionaire by now. Okay, so a quick recap. I think one of the things that really stood out to me there is how mentorship brought about clarity for the two folks that spoke. And I think I've had mentorship moments, not where I was the mentee, where I was receiving mentorship from people that really just clarified things. Just a quick discussion with someone, and then clarity comes and you know what your next steps should be, and you have new energy, because there's nothing like being able to focus on your focus and focus on something and then direct all of your energies towards that. So that's one thing I think really came out very strongly. And then I really admired the fact that the mentees invested in themselves. When they found out what their North Star looked like, they took courses. Someone went back to school, started a master's program. And that personal theory of change thing that Ola spoke about, I think was also really critical. Being able to assess how you are meeting the targets and what you're doing to get there. So those are really strong lessons, especially for us career folks, because sometimes you can just get into the flow and get into the rat race and just keep at it. Maybe you're just looking forward to the next promotion or a raise or the next job without really assessing, am I really on the path that I want to be on? Am I really making progress? Am I really achieving my North Star? So yes, that was very, very useful, especially for us career folks, because I know that some business folks will be like, how does one take on seminar? What's for those of us that, what they call, we're not in the rat race, we're in the king's race, but you know what I mean. For those of us who are on the grind, who have 9 to 5s and who work in corporate settings, I think that was very, very helpful. So thank you so much to all of the speakers. And also to the students. I think I'm very sure you've learned something, you've taken something away from that as well. So it's not too late, even if you're in 400 level already and you're not sure if you get a first class or a second. Hopefully nobody here is on third class path. So yes. All right. If you would like to give at this point, this is not the main worship service. Main worship service starts in about a few minutes. But if you'd like to give, the giving information will be on the screen. In case it's not early enough, it's GT Bank 0241 783 866. If this is your first time worshiping with us at Soul City at Holy Hill Church, we'd like to do a very quick recognition. If you're staying for the main worship service, that's cool, because immediately after that service, we'll take you somewhere special where we can tell you more about church. But in case you're not, and if you're staying, you can just wave so we can recognize you. Is there anyone like that here? First time. Wow, there are a few. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you learned from that session. Live Class is our unique platform where people come to share about their personal experiences and principles for advancing in life. And it's across a broad range. We started in February this year, and we've had a business and finance series and then a social capital series, which have been very impactful. I think personally for me, the biggest testimony has been how many businesses have started or been optimized as a result of this, and how many people have gotten jobs or at least opportunities to interview. It's flying everywhere. And then people that are also thinking of going back to school. What it has done really is open people's minds up. Doesn't matter how old you are, how far off you veered, doesn't matter. It's Live Class. It's for all age groups. Wherever you are, you'll be able to take lessons that can serve you and take you to the next level. So if you're staying for the main Sunday worship, happy to have you. We would welcome you properly at the end. I assume everyone is staying. Okay, so thank you so much. And the Sunday worship will start in about 6 minutes.